Okay, that's better. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, I'm Mimi.
I'm Nina.
So,
But you can call me Betty.
yeah, me, and I'm Dee. But for a lot of you that don't really know us, we're mentor moms for 907 Moms, and we absolutely love it. So,
Yes, we do.
I cannot believe she just said that.
We do.
Okay. So over a year ago, we started Mimi and Nina on Facebook. So come follow us. We do, what do we do?
907 Moms Live.
And 907 Moms Live. So there's two things. Mondays at 1:30 live and Tuesdays at 1:30 live. And so on 907 Moms this year, beginning January 1, we started the 40-day prayer challenge. And, oh,
I forgot my book.
yeah, so she's borrowing mine.
But this is the book we did.
Yeah. And there is Draw the Circle too. No.
That is.
What is it?
It's
No,
called
what's the other one?
Circle
Circle Maker. There is that book, but this is just
Wait,
a
this
gift.
is having a different book.
But, so last year, you and I did it, 2021, January 1st started it. I had never done a 40-day prayer challenge plus fasting. And that's what he recommends. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. I'd never done one. So we ended up doing 3 last year, different situations in our lives. We just knew God was calling us to pray. And there's something about just that extra. I'm making sure that I'm in my Bible, reading my Bible every day. And that's what Mimi and Nina are about. We kind of post the days, whatever the Lord impresses upon us about reading the Bible. And we're in Exodus and Leviticus. It's pretty boring, so we decided that we're going to make it fun. So did you know what pomegranates and bells and salt, we learned all about the offering, so making it interesting for you, us too. We're learning a lot, but things happen in your life, and we just knew that God wanted us to do it more than one time last year. So, and then this year we started again. Every single time, there is something new that you learn. I didn't know nothing when I started last year. Nothing. I'd never fasted. You know, I didn't know nothing. So it's okay. And we're going to talk about that a little bit too. Wisdom is when you don't know how much you don't know. That's wisdom. And there's so much to learn, always. And I love that. So today,
She's trying to stay on the stool.
yeah, that's it. So we, these girls did the 40-day prayer challenge with us. So, me and you.
Did anybody else out here do it?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. I
1,
did it. Casey
2,
did.
Denise, 3.
And Kathy.
I started and I didn't.
I did like
Yeah.
a 38.
Well, life happens, you know.
Look at that count.
Yeah. Life happens. I got sick and was sick for several weeks, but it's okay. You know, so we do the Bible reading, and we have the same Bible, and it's accountability for us. So I make sure we do that, but then it's the extra. It's that time that you just concentrate on what the Lord, praying, simple prayer. It doesn't have to be this big flowery thing. It's just, Lord, what do you want me to pray about this time? And it's that extra time with God, and I miss it. We've talked about that. I miss it. There's just I just dig more, and I don't know. Anyway, that's me. So we are going to have this.
We are determined to not talk much, because we talked last time, and we're determined to let these four ladies talk a lot.
You're off to a great start.
Yeah.
I had to
Are you
introduce.
gonna boo them?
I had to say.
So this is our panel, and we're gonna let them introduce themselves, and we're gonna go right into our questions and talk about it. So who has the microphone?
Jessica does.
How about say your name, and is this your first time?
Yes.
Yeah, doing
Yes.
My name's Nikki, and this is the first time I've done the 40-day prayer challenge, but I have fasted, and I've fasted for a 40-day period of time before, just not done this book.
Okay, cool.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and this is the first time I've done Draw the Circle. I'm Rosalind. It's also the first time I did Draw the Circle. I did more like a 38-day prayer challenge.
I'm Janelle. This was my first time doing the 40-day prayer challenge, and I have done a few different types of fasts in the past, but this was my first time doing the 40-day challenge.
Okay.
Just keep the mic.
You're gonna go first.
One of the things that Mark Batterson talks about in the book is that you need to find a place to pray, a place that's all yours, a place that you know God is waiting for you. And so the first question we want to ask the girls is, what became or what is your favorite place to pray?
So I made a dedicated space downstairs. We have 2 rooms downstairs and nothing else. And one of them is my office. It's got all my bookshelves and my desk, and then it has a rocking chair. And so usually I don't spend a lot of time down there, but I made that my dedicated space. So this time around, I told the kids each day, okay, I'm going downstairs to do my Bible and prayer. You can come get me if you need something, if you really, really need something.
You're bleeding. And it's on the carpet.
Yeah.
If you're just bleeding, it's fine.
It's not broken and it's not bleeding, you don't need me. But that's where I'm going, and it took a couple weeks. They would still come down and interrupt me, but it only took a couple weeks before Gemma would come to the top of the stairs, my 3-year-old, and say, Mama, are you doing your Bible? Mama, are you doing your Bible? Before she would come downstairs. So I started getting the idea.
That's cute.
I feel like I don't have any place in my house that I'm not interrupted. So I read in the bath a lot because, I mean, eventually they're like, you're going to be here forever. And they run out of things to come in and ask me about. Like, you're stuck in here, so let's come talk to you about things that are not important. But anyway, so I read in the bath.
I'm also an avid bath reader. Did not think about praying in the bath. I probably should. I pray
But you're
all over.
naked, and God can see you.
Like, are you making all this?
Yes.
He knows what he's getting into.
I normally pray all over my house, but I think I've dedicated my room, like
Your bedroom.
my bedroom, yeah, at my desk or in my bed. I think that's where I'm hold you the most. My bed.
Mine ended up being our family room downstairs, which is not a dedicated space. It's our homeschool space. It's my office space. It's everything. But same thing with like Janelle said, I would tell my kids like I'm having Bible time. It did not last. They would literally just come downstairs and see me on my knees and just go shh. And then they'd sit in the room with me and they would stay there, and I would just have to focus, Lord, but shh, it would be my 8-year-old to my 5-year-old. But I got in some substantial prayer time, and I think that became my dedicated space. It was kind of all over that room. I was telling Jessica that it's like sometimes I would pray at my desk chair, like I would just sit down at my desk chair, pray there. I would pray at my daughter's school chair. It's all like within 3 feet of each other. I would go and pray at our coffee table that's in that room. It would just be kind of all over that room. I would pray all over it.
Okay.
We decided that your car is our
It's
holy
ours.
place.
My place at my house is, if you ever come to my house, you know where it's at. It's at the end of my table and my chair. I think my chair is conformed. It just fits me perfectly. Because when I sit in a different chair, I go.
That's Jesus' chair.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I've
there you
got
go.
to tell you,
Yes.
I've got to tell you, I really do believe that he waits for me at my table. I had a dream that woke me up this morning. I thought, I need to get up. I just need to get up and talk to God about this, what this means. And And I thought, he's waiting for me. He's waiting for me. And so I got up and sat in my chair.
And my recliner is wide, and I sit on this side, and it leans now. But there's I have a little table, and there's all my books, my Bible, my journal, everything is right there. And that's my place. And then if there's somebody around, I go into my bedroom. I have a chair in there that I pray.
I thought you were gonna say Jesus sits in the recliner with you.
Well,
He's really uncomfortable though. And we prayed in my car so much that I'm about to think it's a holy place.
Yeah.
Just because we prayed so much.
Yeah.
In there.
There you go.
Okay, before we get into individual chapters, we want to know your overall takeaway from this challenge. Just one.
You have the mic. You first. One major thing or a little thing.
Can I go get my notes?
Okay, great. I have my notes. I read through them this morning. One thing is I will say that it was super helpful to have an accountability partner. And this isn't what I got from the book, but this is what I got from the overall experience. Is I think it was like day 3 or 4, maybe even a weekend. Jessica and I were both like, we need to talk this out. Like, we need to talk through this and so we started Marco Poloing each other every day, just kind of like highlighting, so we underlined, we highlighted whatever, and I wrote down like my thoughts, and I got to share them with Jessica, and just being able to verbalize it. It's just kind of the way I learn. I feel like if I have to explain it back to somebody, this is what it said to me. And so many times we would say to each other, what does that mean? What does it look like? What does it look like to move on this prayer request? I don't know. So having an accountability partner was really, really big. And then I think one of the other biggest things that I took away from this was to just sit in that prayer time, to just stay a little longer. If you can talk the whole time, you can pray the whole time, and just kind of like, Lord, I need this, I need this, I need this. It's not that he's a genie. How did it word it in the book? Like, he's not a genie granting our wishes. It's not about us laying out our prayer requests or our plans for God. It's God laying out his plans for us. And that's what your prayer time should be, is it's you waiting to hear from God, like what his plans are for us. So for me, it was a lot of, I would pray, I would say, circle the prayers, the specific promises that I was praying over, and then I would just stay there. And that's when I would get the word from God, and I would get like, oh, that's new, that's a revelation, that's a big thing. And so I think that's my biggest takeaway, was just sit there and just wait for God to talk to you, because he will.
That was awesome.
Oh, thanks.
I think for me, God revealed, be specific. Be specific and use my own words. I discuss this a lot at my table. I feel like a kindergartner when I pray. I'm like, thank you, Lord, for the flowers, and thank you for this day. And I don't feel like it's very deep. And so doing this challenge was really, really good to help me be more diligent in praying every single day and using my own words, because God cares about the content of your heart and not the words that are coming out of your mouth, and being specific. A lot of times I would just pray, like specifically for this 40-day prayer challenge, I was praying for financial breakthrough. Well, what does that mean? Do I want financial freedom? Do I want to be better in spending money that I have that God has given me? Do I want to be better at waiting on purchasing? Like, what does that mean? And so God told me, you need to write down, you want to be financially free, and you need to give me a dollar amount. And so that's what I did.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I love it.
I'll probably cry.
It's okay.
So forever I've wanted to be a part of this, but I've worked full time for 15 years, well, longer than that, but at the same job for 15 years. And I thought, when I saw that you posted it, I'm like, well, I could participate in that, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this book that Betty gave me like 10 years ago and I've never opened, and I'm gonna read it. And I didn't use the book Betty gave me. I had to download it on my phone, because if I'm reading on my phone, then I'm not dinking around on my phone. So that's just how it works for me. But I started with, Lord, I don't even know what to pray for. And I was like, I don't even know what to pray for. And it was very eye-opening, because I realized all the things that I've stopped praying for. Like, I feel like it was like he just said, I've missed you. And I don't know that I got complacent in the things in my life that have bothered me, or feeling hopeless about certain things. Like, that's never going to happen. Why are you still praying about it? So I just started with, Lord, I don't know what to pray for. And he's like, I mean, my testimony is crazy, but here, let me give you all these things. Okay, maybe that was a little too much. Fire hose. Yes. Yeah. So that, I just felt like I've missed that time with him. But I have forgotten what that looks like. So it's been a sweet time. I didn't finish it on like day 38. At first I was doing it by myself, and then I started reading it out loud to my husband at night and doing it together, because I'm like, I feel like we need to go through this together. But yeah, it's been really eye-opening, and I kind of already miss it. I'm like, I want to do it again.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I just want to start back on page 1 now that I have a little bit more vision of what I have let slip in my life.
So I felt like there were so many things. There were a handful of days that really stood out to me, and as I was going through, I was like, I need to come back to this day and just kind of sit in this for a while. But I don't know, a big thing for me, I guess, was just the reminder that I don't have to have a gift for prayer. I don't have to be an intercessor. That, you know, just one prayer can change a life. It can make a difference. Like, that's all he wants, is that communication, and just the difference that it can make. You know, one of my testimonies that I shared during the time was, you know, things that we've prayed for 10 years, and just seeing answers to prayer that we've seen over years. So I know that you can just keep praying, and it makes a difference. But just, it's always good to have that reminder for certain things.
I want to tell you all, I know some of the things that they're going to be sharing with you, so you're going to want to get your tissues handy.
Yeah. I probably cried through the whole thing.
Because when God moves, I mean, he moves. And so you're going to hear many, many things.
Just stand up and run for
And like, my napkin has some left on it. But it'll say more. No, I think I'll be okay. I'm a crier. But if you see like eyelashes sliding in my face, maybe
I'm a sympathetic crier. My husband tries to
This has already been really good. This is good.
Hey, we're not going to go through every chapter. Unfortunately, we don't have time to do that. We just picked out, in all honesty, Dan, I just picked out some of the chapters that we really like. So that's how we chose it.
No, not mine.
So we're starting with day 7. The title was Put on Waders. But the very last statement on day 7 was, if you want to see God move, make a move. So girls, we want to ask you, what does that mean to you? What does that look like for God to make a move?
And you two asked us, what does that mean? And I'm like, okay, can you answer that now?
No.
Okay.
Here.
I feel like it's and you guys talked about this before we started it, that like my prayer journey kind of evolved over the 40 days. I started praying for one thing, and then it kind of evolved into another thing, and something I was kind of dragging my heels on and saying, no, I don't want to pray for that. I've prayed for that before and it hasn't worked. And just kind of been fearful of God not answering that prayer. And has he answered it now? No, it hasn't happened yet. But like Janelle said, it might be 10 years from now. We don't know. But one of the first things that I started praying for was my physical body. So I have like a medical condition in my body that might someday make it so I am not able to walk, that I am not mobile. And so I have been praying that God would just heal me of that. And one of the things that it said, move. And I was like, how do I make a move on asking God to heal my body? Like, what do I do? Like, there's nothing I can do other than what I'm already doing. All the protocols and everything that I'm doing to try and maintain my mobility today, I'll keep doing that, but what does it look like to make a move on it? And he said to me, get on your knees. And that might not seem like a huge thing, but to me, it physically hurts me to be on my knees. It physically hurts me to be down on my knees for any length of time. And so we said that to Dee. I said, I think God is just telling me to pray on my knees, whether it hurts or not. And it didn't continue to hurt. And now it's like a way of life that if I don't get on my knees, it feels weird to be praying to God and not be on my knees. And so for me, it was as simple as that. It's just when I was having my daily morning prayer time with him, just getting down on my knees.
This is such a loaded question for me. I still don't know how to answer it.
I wanted to, it's okay if you don't have an answer for
Yeah.
that question. I don't want you to feel like
No,
you
no,
have
no.
to.
I guess we kind of already did make a move, and I didn't realize we did make a move. This past summer, we sold our house and decided to rent just to save some extra money to chip away at our debt. So that was a big move for us. And then also being really diligent in spending the money that we have the way we should. I will be the first to admit, the past few years we haven't tithed every single month, 100% the entire year. And so I said, I need to tithe. I know tithing is so important. I need to give God his portion first. And so, I mean, we're only 2 months into this new year, but so far I've been very diligent in that. So that's me making that move to prove to God that, you know, he's first in my life. So
I have one more thing to say for you.
oh, okay.
For her.
Thank
For
you.
Jessica.
For Jessica.
At the beginning of our prayer challenge, Jessica said, I want a God idea. That's what you were praying for. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I think your God idea came up when you joined FBI.
Yeah. Yeah. That was another thing I was praying over this year, is just to deepen my walk with the Lord. And luckily God provided the finances for that as well, because money was super tight last month for us. And that's when FBI started up. I was like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if we can afford it. And my husband's like, I will make it happen for you. And he found the money. So
Tell them what FBI stands for. What
it's
that is.
Faith Bible Institute. So we're just studying the Bible. And I've been learning a lot of interesting things, which I've also been sharing. So
It's a 3-year program.
yes, it's a 3-year program.
And you get a
College credit.
college credit. You get a certificate at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, if you complete it. It's been really, really good. And it's been forcing me to have that diligence to be in my Bible every day, because you have to read a specific chapter in the Bible every single day. So that's been really good for me as well.
For me, like I would say that I am a prayer warrior, but not in detail, because, or at least not for myself, which is gonna make me cry. I'm a middle child, like a typical middle child, that I feel like sometimes God's unapproachable for my needs. Like he's so busy with all of his other children that I have to wait my turn, and so I just don't ask. You know, I've never been one to ask for things that I need when it's for me. If you need something, I will help you out. But if it's for me, like it's not important, or I'll figure it out on my own, or you know, like having to rework your mindset of God's not the kind of God that answers your prayers and then throws it in your face that he met your need. So because when you're used to that, when you have a need and somebody helps meet your need, and then they're like, remember all those times I helped you? You're like, you know what, I just wish you wouldn't have. And so I feel like for me, the biggest thing was him just saying, tell me what you want. And like, I don't know what I want. And for me, like this season of life I've been in, it's been like survival. Like, Lord, I just need to get through today. And he's like, but I have so much more for you than just today. Like, I don't have that stupid job anymore. I'm here today. And thankfully, Miss Betty is a prayer mama. And I was like, Miss Betty, I wasn't going to her house to tell her that I needed her to tell me that I could quit my job. But it really worked out great for me. And on paper, it does not make sense that in this season of life I don't have a job. It doesn't. It's not probably, on paper, it's not a good idea. But God doesn't care about paper. And so I was like, there's no way I'm going to convince my husband that this is a good idea. And I'm like figuring out in my head this how I'm going to make it work. And Betty just had prayed, and I'll never forget it. Like, God changes the heart of kings. And so I go home and I'm like, I met with Betty today, and he said, how was it? I'm like, I cried the whole time. And I said that she really thinks that it's a good idea if I quit my job. And he said, okay, that was it. Okay. I'm like, oh, well, that was easy. I'm glad I stayed up all week thinking about it. So, but really, it was just God's like, I'm an approachable father. Like, you don't have to measure who I am by every example you've ever seen. Like, do away with that, you know. And if you can't find the answer of who I am, call Betty.
Our limits don't apply to a limitless God.
Yeah. And I struggle with understanding God as a father. My relationship with my parent, my relationship with my dad right now is amazing, which is a blessing in itself. But relating God to a father that's approachable and a God that meets your needs without holding it over your head, and a God that doesn't think, oh, I'm too busy with my other children for you, is hard for me to understand. And so the only thing that has worked for me is thinking about how I feel about my kids. Like, I don't care how many times you're afraid and need me in the middle of the night, come get in my bed. Like, I will comfort you. I don't care how many times you need to know how this is going to work. I will remind you of my love for you. I've had to show up to school and spank my kid every single day that I haven't had a job. Literally every single day. Like, to the point where I'm gonna have to call some backup because I'm really tired of spanking her. But I still love her. Like, I still love her as many times as I have to spank her, and that's how God is too. Like, He will continue to show up in my life and spank me every single day that I need it. And so I have to look at it as the way that I love my children for me to understand the way that God loves me. Because looking at the world around me, it's very confusing. Like, I don't have to earn your love. I don't have to pray just enough prayers that the jar is full and you're like, okay, we got to the top, now I'll answer you. Like, God is not that way. And so this has just been reframing my whole mindset of how I approach Him, that He's approachable. He's eager to see me. He wants to spend time with me when I'm in the bath, like everybody else in my family.
Can I speak to you?
Yes.
God says in Isaiah, and I don't have it right on the tip of my tongue, but God knows your name. It's in Isaiah. He knows your name. He knows my name. So He deals individually. Also in Isaiah it says, my name is written on the palm of His hand. I only found that in the last few years. That just speaks to my heart so much. So no, it's individual. He deals with us individually, not as a whole. He does that also, but individually. He knows my specific needs. And so, anyway.
Oh, and over the last year, without people knowing anything about what I've been dealing with, just random friends, which obviously it's not random, but would send me something, and in it would say Elroy every time. Elroy. Yeah. He's the God who sees me.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed to know.
He sees you. Janelle.
I'm like, it's okay.
I don't have a whole lot to add to this one. I could think of a few examples in previous years where something like this came up, but for this season, I just felt like the keep circling, keep praying. There's a handful of things that are coming up again, either from the last few years or coming up new, and just need to keep praying. And it's trying to figure out, for years we've just been praying for our family life and stuff, that we would just be in God's will, that we'd just be in God's will. And so this time I'm trying to work on, I feel like I've gotten to a place where I can accept whatever His will is, but I'm trying to work on more of the being specific, so that I can give God the chance to really wow us.
To show off.
Yes.
Show up or show off.
Yep. That's cool.
Many times, many, more often than not, God will put something on your heart that He wants you to do. And we, especially as females, we want, okay, well then what's going to happen next? And then what's going to happen? And then what are you going to do? And it doesn't work that way. What has to happen is you got to take that first step. And that is the hardest step you will ever take in your life. But once you take, and G and I had this conversation, and she said, Betty, you are going to do it. And I said, I am not.
That's what
I said, I am not doing that. Yeah. And Dee said, yes, sure. I said, no, I'm not doing that. Two days later.
I won.
2 days later, I said, God, I surrender. I give up. I don't do it. But you've got to take that first step. And then He shows up every single time. The rest of the way, He will not leave you. But girls, you got to take the first one. You got to make that first little step, that tiny little step, and it's as hard, be one of the hardest things you've ever done. But you won't remember it. You'll forget about it.
Okay, well, this is good. Good stuff. Okay, day 11. and it's entitled First Class Noticer. As you went through the 40 days, did you notice new things? What new things did God cause you to notice? What were, in your reading, those around you? There's something about when you start praying for things, you start listening and you start seeing, oh, that's God things. You start seeing more and more God things. What did you notice, Janelle? What new things?
Well, there's always new things.
Yes.